Right now, while you are watching this video, thousands of middle-class jobs are being deleted. Not outsourced, not automated slowly over decades, deleted overnight. And the terrifying part, the people losing those jobs have no idea it is coming. What you are about to hear is not a prediction, it is already happening. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a massive pyramid. At the very top, you have the ultra-wealthy, the billionaires, the owners. At the very bottom, you have physical workers, plumbers, nurses, construction workers, jobs that need human hands. But in the middle, that is where you probably live. Accountants, lawyers, analysts, marketers, writers, coders, the entire knowledge economy. And in 2026, AI is eating that middle layer alive. Here is the cold, hard number that should keep you up at night. Goldman Sachs estimated that AI could automate 300 million full-time jobs globally. Not factory jobs, white-collar jobs, your kind of jobs. And McKinsey says up to 30% of work hours in the US economy could be automated by 2030. We are not talking about robots on assembly lines anymore. We are talking about software that thinks, software that writes, software that analyzes, software that advises. So how did we get here so fast? Think of it like this. For 200 years, machines replaced muscle. They took over physical labor. But humans still had their brains, their creativity, their judgment. That was our moat, our protection. But then something changed. AI stopped just moving things. It started thinking things. And when machines can think cheaper, faster, and without a salary or a lunch break, the entire game changes. Let me give you a real example. A law firm used to need 10 junior lawyers to review documents before a big case, each one earning $80,000 a year. That is $800,000 in salaries. Today, one AI tool can review those same documents in 4 hours for about $200. Do the math. The firm saves nearly $1 million, and 9 people lose their income. The partner at the top, he gets richer. The junior lawyers in the middle, gone. This is not just law, this is everywhere. Financial analysts, AI reads 10,000 earnings reports overnight and spits out investment strategies. Graphic designers, tools like Midjourney generate professional-grade art in 30 seconds. Junior coders, GitHub Copilot writes functional code faster than any human. Content writers, you already know the answer. The knowledge economy, the thing that defined middle-class prosperity for 50 years, is being hollowed out from the inside. Now here is where it gets truly dangerous. It is not just the jobs disappearing, it is the wages collapsing for the jobs that remain. Think about it. If a company can hire one human or use AI for a fraction of the cost, what do you think happens to your negotiating power? It evaporates. You do not get to ask for a raise. You get to be grateful you still have a job. This is called wage compression, and it is already happening across tech, finance, and media right now. And while the middle class shrinks, what happens to wealth? It concentrates violently. Think of it like water flowing through a funnel. The water is money. The narrow end of the funnel is the people who own the AI. The wide end? That used to be all of us. But now the funnel is getting narrower and narrower. In 2024, the top 1% of Americans already held more wealth than the entire middle class combined. AI does not solve this problem. It accelerates it exponentially. So why is 2026 specifically the danger zone? Because 2025 was the year companies quietly tested AI in their workflows. They ran the pilots, they saw the savings, they crunched the numbers, and in 2026, they are pulling the trigger. Mass layoffs dressed up as restructuring, hiring freezes called efficiency improvements. The language is soft, the reality is brutal. This is the year the dam breaks. Now I need you to really understand something critical. This is not about AI being evil. AI is a tool. A hammer is not evil. But if someone takes your hammer and uses it to knock down your house while you are still inside it, the result is the same. The problem is not the technology. The problem is WHO controls the technology. And right now, control is concentrated in about 5 companies. And those 5 companies are not thinking about your financial stability. Let me show you exactly how the wealth transfer works. Step 1. A company invests in AI. Step 2. AI replaces human workers. Step 3. Labor costs drop dramatically. Step 4. Profits skyrocket. Step 5. stock price goes up. Step 6. Shareholders, who are mostly already wealthy, get richer. The worker who got replaced, they get a severance package and a LinkedIn post saying they are excited for their next chapter. Meanwhile, the CEO gets a $50 million bonus. But here is what nobody is talking about. The financial system itself is built on the assumption that millions of middle-class people have stable incomes. Think about it. Who pays mortgages? The middle class. Who repays student loans? The middle class. Who buys cars on credit? The middle class. Who keeps local banks solvent? The middle class. If you hollow out middle-class income, you do not just hurt families. You destabilize the entire financial architecture of the modern economy. Think about the 2008 financial crisis. It started when people could not pay their mortgages. Banks collapsed. Governments panicked. Trillions were lost. Now imagine that same scenario, but instead of a housing bubble popping, it is an income bubble popping. Millions of middle-class workers simultaneously losing the earning power that was supposed to support their debt, their mortgages, their car payments, their retirement accounts. The ripple effects would make 2008 look like a warm-up. So what does this actually look like in real life? Let me introduce you to a fictional but completely realistic person. Call her Sarah. Sarah is 38. She has a marketing degree. She spent 15 years building expertise in content strategy. She earns $75,000 a year. She has a mortgage, 2 kids in school, a car payment. She is the definition of middle class. And in 2026, her company tells her that a new AI platform can handle 80% of what she does. She does not get fired immediately. Her role gets redefined. Her responsibilities get cut, and so does her salary. Welcome to the new normal. And Sarah is not alone. There are tens of millions of Sarahs, and Michaels, and Jamesons, all facing the same quiet erosion. Not a dramatic firing, not a headline moment, just a slow, invisible squeeze. Income dropping, expenses staying the same, savings rate falling, debt growing. And then one day, the math stops working, and an entire generation realizes the middle-class promise was quietly revoked while they were not looking. Now I want to talk about something that is almost never discussed: the psychological collapse that follows the financial one. When your identity is tied to your profession, and that profession gets erased by a machine, something breaks inside you. Studies from the post-2008 era showed dramatic increases in depression, anxiety, and substance abuse among displaced workers. Now imagine that displacement happening to knowledge workers, people who built their entire self-worth around being smart, being skilled, being valuable, and being told a software subscription replaced them. But here's what I will not do. I will not leave you in the darkness. Because while this picture is terrifying, it is also a map. And maps show you exits as well as dangers. The people who survived every major economic disruption in history did 3 things. They saw the shift coming before the crowd. They repositioned themselves on the right side of the change. And they turned the disruption into their advantage. So let us talk about exactly how you do that. The first principle is this: stop competing with AI, start owning AI. Think about the Industrial Revolution. The people who got crushed were the ones who kept trying to weave cloth by hand. The people who won were the ones who bought the looms. Today, the loom is AI. You do not need to be a coder to own it. You need to be a strategist who directs it. The most valuable skill in 2026 is not coding. It is knowing what to tell AI to do and then selling that output. The second principle: shift from trading time for money to owning assets that work while you sleep. This is the fundamental difference between middle class and wealthy. The middle class sells hours. The wealthy owns systems. And right now, AI is the greatest system builder in human history. A solo creator with the right AI stack can produce the output of an entire agency. A single investor with AI tools can analyze markets like a hedge fund. The leverage available to ordinary people right now is historically unprecedented, but only if you act. The third principle: diversify your income like your life depends on it, because in 2026 it might. The era of one job, one income, one employer being enough is over. Think of your finances like a table. If you have one leg, one wobble, and everything crashes. But if you have 4 legs, you can lose one and still stand. Build digital income streams. Invest in dividend assets. Learn skills that are AI resistant. Human connection, emotional intelligence, physical service, creative direction. These are your additional legs. The fourth principle: invest in the companies that own the AI revolution. If you cannot beat them, own a piece of them. Think about this. Every time someone uses ChatGPT, someone who owns Microsoft stock gets a tiny bit richer. Every time someone uses Google Gemini, an Alphabet shareholder benefits. You may not be able to stop the AI wave from hitting the shore, but you can absolutely build a boat. Index funds, thematic ETFs focused on AI infrastructure, dividend stocks in tech, these are the lifeboats available to you right now. The fifth and most powerful principle: urgency. The window to reposition yourself is not infinite. Every disruption in history had an early window where ordinary people could get ahead of the curve. After that window closes, catching up becomes exponentially harder. Think about the early internet. The people who built websites in 1997 made fortunes. The people who finally started in 2005 competed in a crowded market. We are in the 1997 moment for AI. The window is open, but it will not stay open forever. Now let me address the argument you are probably thinking. Some of you are saying, but new technology always creates new jobs. The Industrial Revolution did. The internet did. Why would AI be different? And that is a fair point. Historically, yes. Technology has always created net new employment eventually. But notice that word, eventually. The gap between eventually and right now is where civilizations either adapt or fracture. The question is not whether new jobs will appear. The question is whether your family can survive financially until they do. And here is what makes this disruption genuinely different from all previous ones: the speed. The Industrial Revolution took 80 years to fully reshape the workforce. The internet took about 30 years. AI is reshaping industries in 3 to 5 years. Human beings and social systems simply are not built to adapt that fast. Government retraining programs take years to design. Education systems take decades to reform, but AI deployment happens in a quarterly earnings cycle. The mismatch between the speed of the disruption and the speed of our response is the real crisis. So where does this all leave us? Here is the brutal summary. The middle class is being squeezed from above by AI-empowered elites and from below by economic pressure. The traditional knowledge economy, the thing that created middle-class prosperity for 2 generations, is being disrupted faster than any shift in modern history. And the financial system that depends on middle-class spending power is quietly becoming more fragile with every passing quarter. The 2026 AI financial collapse is not a movie plot. It is a trend line with your name on it. But here is my final thought for you. Every single era of massive disruption in human history had 2 kinds of people: the ones who watched it happen to them, and the ones who happened to it. The people in the second group did not have superior intelligence. They did not have more money. They had one thing: they saw reality clearly, without denial, and they moved. Knowledge without action is just anxiety. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what is the one step you will take this week to stop being a passenger in this story and start being the driver? If this video opened your eyes, do one thing right now: share it with someone you care about, because the people who need this information most are the ones who have never heard it. And if you want to go deeper on exactly how to build financial resilience against the AI wave, including specific assets, skills, and strategies, subscribe, because that is exactly what this channel is built for. See you in the next one.